Okay, we are live. Live. VGRT Gaming Podcast, episode 770, recorded on December 22nd, 2025.
Hello and welcome to the 770th edition of the TD Gaming Podcast and 603rd episode of Video Game Roundtable. I am TJ Denzer.
I'm Scott Dirk.
And I am Jonah Falcon.
The VGRT Gaming Podcast focuses on game news from around the industry.
All right, so this is the last episode of 2025. Hooray! And we're not going to really talk about news right now because it's official. We're in the new video game crash.
What are you
How we
talking
know? Okay. Sales on consoles are extremely low. In fact, the Switch 2 isn't even outselling the Wii U.
Well, I mean, it's just the whole freaking industry is in a slump right now because
the tariffs and all that crap isn't helping, but there's a lot of structural damage that was already done. You know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Leading into the back end of this year, I'm not surprised that this is the worst because the economy is in shambles right now. People aren't going to go up and buy systems the way they have in years past when things are the way they are.
Here's the thing. It's not just that. It's not just the pandemic. It's not just the shitty economy. We were on this road. These things just accelerated it. Accelerated it.
Indies are pretty much the only games that I'm really, not only games, but it's one of the main ones that I've been looking forward to and been playing all year.
Oh, gee, and the crash is such a mystery.
Okay.
Here's the thing, when AAA games aren't selling, and a lot of it is slop, that's one of the big reasons.
There is a deep disinterest in paying $70 unless that game is going to be something that you can play for a whole season.
Silksong did really well this year. It came out at $20, and they even have DLC for it now. Which is free DLC. It's just crazy. So I think the indie is going to be carrying the gaming industry.
I don't give a shit about the Game Awards, but it's kind of obvious that even without the Game Awards, Claire Obscure Expedition 33 was the game of the year. And here's the thing, it's an indie game.
Yeah. And that was a $40 game to that point.
And on Game Pass.
Mm-hmm. So barrier of entry, indies are making the barrier of entry to really good games lower, or AAA games have kind of ballooned and bloated and gotten even more expensive. And you
know what the popular games this year did? You know what they did? They didn't talk down to the gamer. They didn't treat them like they were stupid. There were no cliches. You play Claire Obscure, for instance. The storytelling is on such a high level. The story, the acting. Indiana Jones: The Great Circle. Why was that so popular? Yeah, it's Indiana Jones, but you know what? The story is amazing, and the acting is amazing, and I'm not even thinking about Troy Baker as Indy, because I'm going to tell you something. Everybody's secret favorite character of the past year and a half has been Emmerich Voss.
Yeah. And, even to that point, you want to talk about, it wasn't the game of the year, but it was still, and it did do a little bit of cliche, I think, in the way that the story was told, but Dispatch really caught me this year. Dispatch was really fun. And a lot of people had fun rediscovering that magic of a good Telltale game.
Yeah, Dispatch is one of those games that's being talked about long after its release, and it's sort of on a slow burn. It's one of those games in which people learn about it, but very slowly. It's sort of going there. But, it's not like Claire Obscure, which was like this, because, people wanted French fantasy,
Yeah. It's so fun to go back to those conversations that we used to have about the choices you made versus the choices I made versus the choices that other people made. And why did you do that with that character? And what? You didn't let that one go? Or it's a good vibe. with
Mass
when
Effect
you
3 was
have
back in
that.
2013. I mean,
Yes,
And I've
yes.
been enjoying the Infinite Alliance indie games, Kingdom of the Dawn Quartet, Shrine's Legacy, and 8-Bit Adventures 2, which have been
but here's the
really...
thing: we're actually getting into what the topic of this podcast is going to be, and that is, what is the best game you've played that was new for 2025, and what was your favorite game that was new of 2025? Because those two are two different things. You can have a best game, but like another game a lot more. But we're not going to get there yet. We're going to talk about the video game crash right now, because we are
Okay.
experiencing a crash.
I'm just saying that the hardware stuff might be crashing, but I think there's still games being made, good games being made, and ones to look forward to next year.
The industry is crashing, and here's the thing: even in the video game crash of 1983, you still had the C64, you still had Japanese games. It was just the console, a very specific console. Because here's the thing: in 1983, there was Atari, there was Intellivision, and nothing else. Maybe the ColecoVision 2.
2026 is going to be an interesting year to see how this plays out because, yeah, you're like the holidays showed that sales are down, people aren't buying as much, and like there's probably going to have to be some adjustments. I hope those adjustments aren't mass layoffs.
Yeah, I think there hasn't been, especially like with Sony, there hasn't been enough long-term view on these games. Have been just, like, I don't want 5 or 6 PlayStation consoles just to play my whole entire PlayStation library. So it just
good news. I mean, Microsoft and Sony found out people ain't gonna pay $70 for a game. Nintendo hasn't learned that lesson yet. Maybe they will soon. But
that's the other thing, the whole game key card thing that nobody likes.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: Pokemon ZA is not a $70 game. That's a $30 game. It is not complete. It is not a completed game. I've talked to everybody, and here's the thing: you knew something was off when Tears of the Kingdom was a flop. People do not like that game at all, and they consider it one of the worst Zelda games now. And it's like, really? Because Breath of the Wild was such a big thing. But then you notice a little bit of a... But here's the thing. You notice a little bit of a pattern with these games that Nintendo's been releasing. What are they releasing? DLC games. Live service games. Things that people don't want from Nintendo. They'll barely tolerate it from Microsoft and Sony and Valve, or whatever games that are on Valve. But Nintendo? No. Nintendo is supposed to be the toy. It's supposed to be the console that you have fun with. Fun, not, let's microtransaction them to death and force them to pay $70 for these games.
I mean, the Tears of the Kingdom doesn't have DLC, and I enjoy the game, but I guess
it's people have been really down on that game.
Really? I'm going to say no. They have not. I'm going to go and say no.
Do any search you want. It is not a well-made game.
I see them posting new stuff from like the machines you can do with the game every
You'll
week.
always have fans of Zelda.
Years after the game came out.
Here's the thing. You'll have fans of the shittiest Zeldas. I'm not impressed with that.
I don't think shitty is
I'm going to send you. I'm going to send you a whole. I can just Google search. You can.
That's. I don't care if you Google search. You can Google search shitty reviews of Shakespeare if you want. It's not going to change my mind.
The sales have not been there. Let's put it that way.
The 10 million units worldwide in the first 3 days.
They expected much more. Yeah. Oh wait. Launch sales. Yeah, that Pokemon ZA sold 3 million at launch.
And
then that was it.
As of June,
trust me.
As of June,
I've seen the numbers.
It's 20.
I know you don't want to believe it, but I've seen the numbers. Okay.
I'm looking at them right now. They're like official numbers. They're not hard to find.
I've seen the reactions and the numbers. Trust me.
I've seen them both too, and they're all positive.
Step down from it. Anyway, Donkey Kong Racing has gotten a lot of people angry. And so is Mario Kart World. Another open world for Mario Kart, and open world for Donkey Kong, and open world for Metroid 4, Prime 4, which is really being taken in the back shed right now. People did not want an open world Metroid game. I mean,
I've played
people.
it. It's not
90% of the
nothing
game
like
is. Remember, Gear. Which Gears was it? Gears Judgment. I know there was one. One of the most recent Gears had the open world hubbing. Remember, you drove from back and forth between hubs. That's what Metroid Prime 4 is doing. Anyways, getting back to the crash. What really makes it interesting is that Sony and Microsoft still insist they're going to be releasing consoles late next year.
Huh.
I don't know. I think they need to relook at their strategies of what they're doing because.
And guess what they're doing? They're imitating Nintendo yet again.
That's right. Did you see that Sony is doing an AI to auto censor your stuff? That's not going to go well.
No, I'm talking about Sony and Microsoft are going to be doing their handheld versions of their consoles as well, just like a Switch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they keep doing that anyways, but
they keep on copying it. Like motion control sucked, but it was popular for a while, and Microsoft and Sony said, "Hey, let's copy that."
It feels so soon that we're getting another set of consoles. I don't feel like we need a new set of consoles for maybe at least another couple of years.
Well, you might put an asterisk on Microsoft's new console because their scuttlebutt is it's going to be more like a PC than ever before.
I guess so. I mean, I'm kind of interested in what Valve is doing with their stuff next year, but
yeah,
I don't feel like anyone's doing anything all that interesting.
That's the other thing. Microsoft and Valve are getting very chummy. Very chummy. I mean, Microsoft's next console is going to have Steam on it, from what I understand.
Might as well just buy a Steam machine then.
Because you could also play Xbox games on your thing. If Game Pass appears on Steam, then you know what's going on. And the thing is that, remember 20 years ago, I said this, in 20 to 30 years, you're not going to have physical consoles anymore, and we're slowly getting to that point. Right now,
they seem. I remember Microsoft and Amazon, or was it Google? Google and Amazon saying that their streaming services didn't seem to sway gamers to come over to their.
Here's the thing: they half-assed it, and this is the thing that mind boggles me with Google Stadia, is that of anybody who could make it work, Google could make it work. They had the money, they had the infrastructure, they had everything. And they put out a shitty product. It wasn't that streaming didn't work, because Microsoft has already proven, hey, streaming works. You know, you can do it from your cell phone, you can do it from your PC, you know, people love it. You can do it from your Samsung TV. But they did the shittiest model. What Google had to do was do what Microsoft did and start their own version of Game Pass first. That's what they had to do. But who was going to buy, what was it, Wolfenstein? You remember the Wolfenstein with the two girls? I forgot the name of it.
Bloodlines or something?
Youngblood.
And not only, you had to pay for it. You had to pay full price for it. You had to pay $60 for a game that you didn't physically have. And why do that if it's going to be streaming? Why not just have a game, a Netflix type thing? I mean, Google could have started the digital streaming thing, but they cocked it up with Stadia. Stadia was not a bad idea, but who knows why? They have that with the Zebo in South America. You could do it with the Zebo in South America. You could do it with Google here. It's just so strange. Google does that though. Sometimes
I think.
Before you move on, before you start, I'm going to say this. Google does this strange shit in which they'll do all these experiments, then drop them. Like this is cool. It's next year. What? Oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I think these AAA big industry or big companies are going to stumble, and they're going to allow smaller ones to actually get into the space better. So I don't think it's going to be a bad thing.
Is that new? Excuse me. When did Kickstarter start? Oh, right, in 2013. Kickstarter's been around for a long while, okay? We've had that for a while. I mean, hey, there's no new Castlevania coming out. Well, let's make Bloodstained.
Yeah, but were we getting those games winning Game of the Year awards back then? I feel like
Survivors.
I feel like there have always, yes, you're right that there have always been really, really good indie games, but I feel like they're getting deeper into the mainstream than they've ever been before. In a
Well,
way,
here's
Sea
the
like,
Stars.
Here's the thing. The thing that's different about Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is it doesn't feel like a AA game. It feels
well,
like
that's
a AAA
that's
game.
what I was about to land on. Is that the line is starting to blur between what is an indie studio and what is AAA or what is AA.
Yeah, I've been
here's the
seeing a
thing.
lot of debate and discussion about that and arguments of what games are AAA and what are indie games. And there's a lot of indies that feel some of these bigger games are going to have fan audiences expecting indie games to look like Clair Obscura, and not all of them are going to look like that or be that price, or be Silksong's price for that matter.
But here's the thing. This isn't the first time we've had a crash since 1983. We had a little crash in 1998 through 2002. That's when PC gaming dropped off. That's when you had no RPGs for a long while. You had no combat sims. The only thing that came out that jostled it was the PlayStation 2, because the consoles that were out then, the N64, the new Atari consoles, the Dreamcast, all of them flopped. And we had a minor crash.
Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 were in...
Yeah, those were what kickstarted it. But before that,
they weren't
RPG
Kickstarters.
was dead.
These were...
I know, I'm just saying, but the RPG was dead at the time. Baldur's Gate, and the only thing that reignited it was Diablo. Diablo reignited it, and it wasn't turn-based RPG. Yes, there was Baldur's Gate, but it was like an oasis in a wasteland.
Thor 98 was a good year, so I don't know what you're talking about. Let's see.
I mean, you had certain things, but I'm just saying the PC market started dipping at the turn of the century, and it took some while to get. I said it was a minor crash; it wasn't a full crash, but
Right.
PC gaming went down. It went down because remember that was the time with the FPS glut. Remember all those build FPS games that just started in the market, and that was also, what the big thing at the turn of the century was. Everybody was making a real-time strategy game. Everyone and their mother. That was the new hotness.
Yeah, the StarCraft was in '98, so yeah, that was.
I mean, you had Total Annihilation. You had
Season
Warcraft.
3.
You had, but I'm not even into the big games. I mean, even the little games. I mean, here's the thing: when Arcana of Steamworks and Magic came out, it was like, oh my god, an RPG! It was that kind of, wow, we have an RPG that's sort of like Dungeons and Dragons. Wait, was Arcana Dungeons? No, it wasn't. Was it? Was Arcana?
It's not Dungeons and Dragons, but it was
yeah.
Yeah, it was an isometric RPG, just not D&D, not that license.
And what hurt it was a buggy mess when it first came out. It was a notoriously buggy mess. Now it's considered a classic because they patched the hell out of that thing. But like I said, but keep in mind, notice I'm talking about a minor crash because it didn't crash? Japan. And people say, oh, no tactical, no turn-based RPGs. Let me give you all these JRPGs that kept that alive. All the Japanese RPGs kept the turn-based role-playing games alive in the console space. You didn't have that in the PC space. It also died in 2000. The Space Combat Sim. Freelancer was the last one in 1998, and for a long time. And then Kickstarter came around and said, hey, wait a minute. Elite, Star Citizen, people want this shit, And that's what I really like about Kickstarter. Isn't that it's a great service, but it does tell people, no, people want this. People want adventure games. We love adventure games. Bring them back. Bring back full motion video. Her Story comes out, and all of a sudden it's a huge spate of full motion video games again. And that was in 2015. But to get to the point, right now we're experiencing a crash that is hampered by tariffs and a recent pandemic.
And the whole RAM going insane prices
that's
too.
Part of it. That's a part of the tariffs. But I'm just saying, right now, it's everything's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. But we're undergoing that metamorphosis again, and the question is, when are we going to actually have consoles anymore? That's the last question.
I'm not sure, but the other question, well, like I foresee that like the line between indie and like
Yeah.
high budget is going to continue to get nebulous to the point where like indie's really losing its meaning more and more. Because like on one end
Here's
of the
the thing.
spectrum, hold up, one
Okay.
end of the spectrum, you got like these passion projects made by one person that's like a pixel art prodigy, and then on the other end you've got Claire Obscure that can hire people like Charlie Cox.
It's still a small team,
Andy
though.
Serkis.
Yeah, I know, but
like,
it's still a small team.
But
with
the
like 20 to
budget,
30
but the
people.
level of budget and resources there is so lopsided.
Okay.
You know.
Let's hold up here. I'm a voice actor. I'm going to tell you this: hiring a voice actor is not that expensive. You'll see Mark Hamill in Japanese cult films and SpongeBob SquarePants. You'll say, "Wait a minute, what is SpongeBob doing in this cult film for Happy Science?" You know, but
I just feel like
Right.
the level of budget and resources between something like Balatro and the budget and resources on Claire Obscure feels
or you have
different.
You have Lucas Pope with
They are
Please
different.
and like Lucas Pope with Papers, Please and Return of the Obra Dinn. You know, I will say this. You know, there's a great democratization going on. What is one of the biggest games of the past 20 years? Undertale, and that is an RPG Maker game. You know, it's not that hard to make a game now because people are
Made
more
on a
computer
budget,
literate.
an idea and a dream, and like it's incredible how that game works. Like how much that game considers and like prepares for. But like it is just such a strange thing to see the kinds of indie games that we call indie games, but they're like full blown, full level, full project, full budget things that like
But here's the thing.
from some of the highest budget $1 million things out there.
One of the things that tickles me though is that people have decided, you know what? Retro ain't so bad.
Yeah.
Vampire Survivors, Condemned, not Condemned. Oh damn, what's the name of that Castlevania with the Spanish Catholic?
Blasphemous.
Blasphemous, yeah. You know, all these games, they're pixel art games, you know, and voxel art games. Cloud Jumper is a great game, you know. It's just you ferrying a taxi around, right? And let's not, you know what game I finally played for the first time this past week? Dear Esther. For the first time. And that set off the walking simulator. And now you have games like Firewatch and What Remains of Edith Finch. You know, these games aren't going to dazzle you with photorealistic graphics, but they're beautiful to watch and play on, you know. They have style. And these are small teams. So yes, you are right. And this is what the great balancer is going to be. At some point, the people are going to realize people aren't paying for our shit. What are they playing? Oh, they're playing games that are affordable, made by small teams. And then you have to understand that you have to have a hierarchy. Quadruple A games, triple A games, double A games, indie games, you know? It's a soup. I don't want all indie games. Sometimes I want some eye candy. I don't want all quadruple A games, you know, because sometimes I want something that's simple and fun to play, like Balatro, like Slay the Spire, you know, which is why I'm really hungry looking forward to Slay the Spire 2, whenever that's coming out.
Yeah. And to your point, like even the AAA studios are sometimes and even more oftenly betting into retro and AA, because like Sega, I'm sorry, Koei Tecmo had the Blasphemous developers make a Ninja Gaiden this year, and then Marvel had that beat 'em up with Dotemu and the folks who made Streets of Rage
Marvel
4.
Heroes.
Yep.
Oh no, those are the people who did the TDMT game.
And there was a Shinobi game this year. So like there's also like this subgenre that is spiraling out from like the major studios that have these IP they're not doing anything with, and so they license them out to indie studios to make something with it, and that's kind of cool. I dig that.
By the way,
I like that we got a 2D Ninja Gaiden.
You know who also ate Square Enix's lunch? Not only Clair Obscur, but Atlas. Because we're forgetting one of the big games that came out earlier in the year, or I think it was earlier last year, but Metaphor or Fantasio came out, and Atlas has been putting out killer game after killer game after killer game. The Persona games, the what's it called? The Xenoblade Chronicles, and everything like that.
Oh,
And Metaphor for
Xenoblade
Fantasio was
Chronicles
a big game.
Xenoblade Chronicles is Monolith Soft.
Oh, well, you know what I mean, though. I mean, Atlas has been putting out killer games.
Good. They have a good track record.
And it's sort of like they're like, we're going to do Square Enix better than Square Enix does it. And here's the thing. I wonder what Final Fantasy 17 is going to be like after Metaphor de Fantasio comes out and after Expedition 33 comes out and Square says, holy shit, people really like turn-based. Because here's the thing. One thing I found out about 16 was it was made by the guy who did Devil May Cry. And that's it. Oh, now I get it.
You can't really say that Square Enix doesn't realize people don't like turn-based because they've been doing the Dragon Quest games pretty regularly.
Here's the other, but they've also been, but they're doing the nostalgic game. They're doing these remasters of Dragon Quest. They're doing these remasters of Final Fantasy 1 through 6. That's it's just cheap money. But I'm talking about their big headliner games.
I'm sure Dragon Quest 12 will still be turn-based, whatever that looks like.
For the most part, it looks like it will be. Like Yuji Horii is still working on it. It's just we haven't heard anything about it in a while, Scott. I'm kind of curious as to when we will.
I'm curious too. I've been wanting to hear anything on it. It's just been quiet, and I know I heard that they were having trouble with it figuring out what they wanted to do, and I hope that they have figured out what they wanted to do.
It was like November this year that he said once again, "Please give us patience. I'm still working on it."
Yeah.
I mean, and let's not dismiss the fact that Final Fantasy VII came to the Xbox, or that Helldivers 2 came to the Xbox, or that 5 of the top 7 games on PlayStation are Microsoft games, and that Forza Horizon 5 is the #1 game on PlayStation for 2025 or 2020, one of the years. It's the #1 game. And it's sort of like, yeah, you can see the signs there. I mean, here's the thing. Sony commissioned Square Enix to make Final Fantasy 16 and 7 for the PlayStation and the PlayStation only. No Nintendo, no Xbox. PC, sure, right? But what happens? Square Enix can't make money off of just one console, so they have to release 16 and 7 on the Xbox and on Nintendo,
Yeah.
There's a message being sent. Multi-platform is the only way you're going to survive right now.
It does seem that way for Xbox and Sony.
I mean, Sony has a lion's share of the market. I believe it's at 45%. I'm not quite sure. And Microsoft and Nintendo both have like 25% each or 24% each or something like that.
Yeah.
But even so, you cannot make for one console anymore. Which is why Microsoft had to jack up the price of Game Pass Ultimate to $30, and regular Game Pass to $20, and basic Game Pass to $10. I forgot. I'm not up on the prices. And Sony is doing a do-si-do with PlayStation Plus, and I have no idea what they're doing with that. And I swear to God, you know what kind of mint Nintendo would make if they had a $3 per month version of Game Pass that said, okay, you pay $3 a month, you get every single NES and Super Nintendo game that is ever released. Ever released! They would make a friggin' mint on that.
I don't know why they don't.
Because they want to resell it, thinking that makes them more money. How many times are you gonna buy the original gold box 1985 Legend of Zelda?
Sometimes I go and look at, because we've had a few years where they've been doing the releases on the Nintendo Switch Online Library that you get with the subscription. Yeah. Occasionally I go and look in there and see if there's something that I kind of have niche to play. And I found that most of the stuff that I would want to play is in there right now. There are some niche things that I still don't see, but I wish they would just fill that out. If they could just keep filling that thing out to the point where it's just...
I remember playing a game on the NES called Athena, which I found out later is a really terrible game, but when I was young, I found it frustrating. I would want to play Athena again just to see how my memory matches up with what I experienced. You know, it was sort of like Ghosts and Goblins, except more difficult.
Yeah, and I guess what I'm trying to say is not everything is on there, and you're right. At like, it should be. I wish they would. I wish they would just go ahead and put everything on there. But like, if I had an itch to play Kid Icarus, it's in there. If I had an itch to play Battletoads and Double Dragon, it is in there.
Yeah.
And like Shining Force 1 and 2, yes, I love them, and they're in there. But like, yeah, I don't know. I've always had mixed feelings about the piecemeal, like 3 games at a time thing they're doing with Nintendo Switch Online. But I have to admit, after several years of it, they do have pretty good libraries in all of them.
I mean, when Microsoft releases Lost Odyssey for free, it's like, oh, by the way, I found out something that I suspected, and that is that the developers of Clair Obscur Expedition 33 said that Lost Odyssey was their chief inspiration for that game.
That's
And
pretty
once
dope.
you know that, and if you play Lost Odyssey, you say, "Holy shit!"
It does match up.
I'm playing Expedition 33 before Expedition 33. The battle system is the same. The art style is similar. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
you know, hey, if you're gonna copy someone, copy Mistwalker. They only made 2 games for the Xbox. That was Blue Dragon and Lost Odyssey, but they are killer games. And if you ever try them, you should. Stop banging the keyboard, Scott. I don't hear you. Anyways, we're gonna move on to the pain thing. So we're gonna talk about what the best game of 2025 we played and what our favorite game of 2025. I'll go first. The best game is obviously Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I mean, just the opening of that game in which you're doing nothing except running around the dock. I mean, there is a sense of foreboding and wistfulness and sadness. And then you get onto the island, and then it becomes the shit hits the fan. And then you meet these goofy characters who just, it's like, wait, am I playing the same game?
yeah. Clair Obscur is an amazing game. Like, I'm still making my way through about the halfway point. I still, I've gotten through some ridiculously heavy stuff, but I'm really enjoying. It's just like that game is not just a good looker. It's got a good, and it's not just good story. It's got a really good combat system underneath that. And I don't even mean like just the parrying and the gunplay. I mean like also the Picto system and the like designing and fitting characters with abilities the way that you want them to be. Like Lune is one of my favorite characters on an RPG system because you have to use her spells in a way that like each element collects a stain on her weapon.
Yeah.
And
you
then,
can tell what other game they were inspired by, and that's Final Fantasy X.
Yeah. Like she collects these stains on her weapons, and then if you use a spell that uses those stains, it'll power up that spell, and it makes them so cool to use. I love those characters and the way that they are like all puzzles to figure out even before you fight with them.
Yeah. And my favorite game of the year to play was one that I did not know was coming, and apparently was in development for several years, and people were beta testing the hell out of it. And it shows, by the way, the game is silky smooth and it is polished to a T, and that is Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. Oh, yes, nice. It's Vampire Survivor with Deep Rock, but I'm going to say something. It has that one more game feel. You know, the difficulty ramps up, but it ramps up in a way is like, I want to break my head against that wall. You know, I just hit my head against the wall, hit my head against the wall, hit my head against the wall, and I'll keep hurting myself, but I just want to get through that one level just to get to the next, even harder level in which I keep on breaking my head against that wall too. Mm-hmm. Did either of you play Deep Rock Galactic Survivor?
No. I didn't get a chance to jump into that one.
Yeah. If you liked Vampire Survivor, this is like the next level, because the one thing I did not like about Vampire Survivor is that it's kind of obscure. You don't know quite what you want to do to advance. It gives hints, but it's a little bit too obtuse. Deep Rock Galactic Survivor, you know what you're supposed to do.
You
know what you're supposed to do.
for some of those challenges, you straight up have to go into to Vampire Survivor's like trophies menu, and you have to just read the descriptions on every one of them to figure out what the hell is supposed to happen.
It's a pain in the ass. And I still haven't bought all of the DLC for Vampire Survivors yet. I did buy, since I'm playing on Game Pass, I did buy the supporter thing, which turns all the dwarves into golden version of themselves, just to support the developers, because they deserve the support with the game they made. So, TJ, what was the best game? Objectively, the best game that you played this year? Was it Expedition 33?
It wasn't. It was Death Stranding 2 on the beach.
I have not yet played that.
So here is Death Stranding 2 on the beach. It was like the full package for me this year. It was the best looking thing I played this year. It had one of the most interesting stories. I enjoyed a lot of the combat and travel mechanics, the way they upgraded everything. And the soundtrack is like one of the best assembled licensed soundtracks I've ever heard. And it hit me in a way this year that was like, it provided me with kind of a vibe that I kept for 2025, where it's like the entire message of the game is that we can go it alone, but we shouldn't. We're social creatures, and we should rely on each other and come together and make things better. And I know that that's not a vibing message for everyone, but it was something that vibed with me. And Death Stranding 2, besides being a message that vibed with me, was just like an impeccable package. Like, they are doing incredible stuff with graphics, gameplay, motion capture, facial capture. Just awesome.
But here's the other thing: it's also a victim of video game crash, because it also flopped. It's only sold 1.4 million copies to date, and that is severely not what they were expecting for sales of that. But like I said, a game doesn't have to sell well to be popular, because my all-time favorite game is Grim Fandango, and that sold dick.
Yeah. Like, at the end of the day, I couldn't care what Death Stranding 2 sells. But that's my thing, is that why are you so concerned about sales when you enjoy it? Hey, you know what? The only concern is that they'll never make another one because it didn't sell well. But you played that game, you enjoyed it. It did its job for you, and you should be the only person who's concerned about it. Right, and I think it's just an impressive also look at what a good studio can do with the medium. I think that Death Stranding 2 is a great example, like a great benchmark of how far we've come as far as what we can design. Like, it's very impressive. That's all I'm going to say. And like whether or not you like Death Stranding as a series or not, or
okay. So here's the thing about Death Stranding. Okay, I only picked the first one. The story is batshit insane.
It is.
And game does too much. Like I said, it has too many features. I just want a simulator in which I'm carrying crap on my back and I have to try and navigate rocky terrain. That's a great game unto itself, and I will deal with all the weird shit. Just don't let me deal with those stupid monsters, those stupid invisible monsters in the goop. I mean, it's just like I still haven't figured out what I'm supposed to be doing there. I'm supposed to walk slow, you're supposed to hold your breath, you have to...
In fact, you have to deal with more monsters in the goop than ever before.
Yeah.
But
like I said...
Unfortunately, monsters in the goop are just an integral part of Death Stranding.
But here's the thing, is that I'm pretty sure that it'll be on the Xbox a year after its release, and it'll be on Game Pass, just like the original Death Stranding was. And because here's the thing, Hideo Kojima has been very chummy with Microsoft, so...
Yeah.
I'm still wondering about that game he's making with him. He's still sort of cagey about what game he's making with Microsoft.
Yeah. It still sounds like it's happening. They shared some more images from it recently.
Want to bet it's going to be Xbox exclusive for 1 year, and then it's going to go multi-platform. That has to be the deal that Microsoft has with him, that it'll go multi-platform after a year. Don't worry about it. We just need them. We just need exclusivity for a year. That's all we need. And by the way, I found that's actually kind of effective because after a year, people lose interest in a game. So when it comes to another platform, it's like, so what? Very few games are like, oh my god, it's on another platform. Like Cuphead. Cuphead is one game I remember that people were actually excited that it came to a new platform. And Ori as well. There's something about those platformer games, I guess.
As far as
and Helldivers.
And then as far as the game that I enjoyed most this year, it's kind of a tie. So, like, Silksong is probably the thing that I enjoyed most from a challenge standpoint.
A very challenge standpoint.
That game is really hard, and it like tickled my fancy as far as like pushing my skills to the limit and keeping me sharp. I love games like that. I love games that make me figure it out and then execute on a level that I haven't before.
Hey, I like Dead Cells, you know? I mean, I just don't like grindy games like Dark Souls and all that crap because I'm an adult. If you want to test my skills, that's fine. Just don't make me grind for it.
Yeah. Silksong is just good, though. It's a perfectly built game, in my opinion.
I've only played like 2 hours of Hollow Knight. You know, at some point, I have so many things on my lap that I really can't. You know, it's like I'll get around to Hollow Knight at some point.
It's impossible to get to all the games.
One day I'll play Cave Story. Who knows?
Yeah, but I really liked Hollow Knight as far as a challenge standpoint. It was my favorite thing that I played this year, from just like the sheer pushing me to my limits thing.
I did play something like that though. Oh, jeez, what was the name of that game?
But from a story standpoint, Dispatch was like my shit. I love. Yeah,
you kind of hinted at that during this entire podcast.
Those characters are all fucking rad. They're all cool. I love them. I love this superhero for hire universe that they made. It's really fun to navigate through, and the people that they got for this, the way that they portray their characters, it's all awesome.
Did you ever play that XCOM 2 spin-off, Chimera Force?
Yeah, I did. I bounced off of it. I wasn't crazy about it.
Okay. Seems like it was trying to do what you like about Dispatch.
I mean, one of the things that I do like a lot about Dispatch is that they don't just make it a quick time event jamboree anymore. They have many games in there that like apply to the story and to the main character's skills that are actually enjoyable. Like, I think that they did a good job by like branching off from the Telltale style and upping the gameplay because it makes it more engaging.
Yeah, that's the other thing that I know about Dispatch is that it doesn't do the cliches. You're good at your job. You know what you're doing, and the people appreciate what you're doing. There's no artificial friction in which you have this one person who hates you, or you stumble in trying to do this job. No, you know what you're doing. You lost your powers. You become a dispatcher. You know what you're doing. They appreciate you. That's there's no artificial friction between you and your coworkers.
There is friction that can be made based on your choices because you can play the main character like a dick.
You have to earn that friction. What I'm saying is that the default thing is that they know you can do what you can do, and you know what you can do, and you don't start off pining for your powers to come back. You know, it's sort of like, yeah, this is what I'm doing now. I'm good at it.
Yeah. It's great though. If you liked the old Telltale games, I implore you to check it out.
See, that's like saying this. That's like whistling at Scott. Hey, Telltale game, old style Telltale game. By the way, Scott, that sort of reminds me of the Minecraft Tales by Telltale, and it's sort of like I remember you were like, they keep on releasing episode after episode after episode, even though they say they're going to stop with this one. They just keep releasing more episodes.
Yeah, there was like 10 episodes, and they had like two old chapters or whatever. That was a lot.
So, Scott, what was the best game you've played this year? Not the one you like the best, but the best game.
I think the best game was Trials Through Daybreak 2. This was where they have the best
Wait,
part
let
of
me ask
it.
you a question. Is this a remake of an older game, or is this an entirely new game?
No, it's a new game.
Okay. There's so many Trials games, Scott. I can't keep track of them all.
I know, and I played a lot of remakes this year, so that's fair. But this was a new game. I hadn't played it yet, and they just released a localization of it this year for the West, and so I played it, and I really loved the whole mechanic with action and turn-based combat being combined, and they made it a part of the story. In fact, because you throw these shards or whatever that activate the turn-based combat, and what you're really doing is pausing time, slowing time down. And one of the big themes in the whole trial series are these sectarians that are based on one element. And the element for Calvard is time. So you know time is a big issue with the Calvard arc. And you do a whole lot of time travel shenanigans where you kind of restart time to avoid a catastrophe, avoid getting killed, because there's a whole lot of people trying to really kill you or kill Van and the party, and so I got a big kick out of that. Doing time travel stuff is just so much fun, and that to me was like really great narrative story, and I don't think anybody else was doing that this year, and so for me that was the best. Just narrative, just having a combat mechanic be part of the story was really good to me. So that will be the best.
And what was the game you enjoyed the most?
That one's tough, but I'm gonna go with Quartet because of the characters and the story that was being told. You have this. I don't want to give away the plot twist because it's a really good plot twist. It was like, but it was like the best part of it. But you have this world where you have these 4 different characters that you pick the chapter to see what's going on, and in each of them you see magic behaving in a different way, and they partner up with somebody. So after those 4 chapters, you get 8 characters coming together, and then you get to see the story unfold through those characters in those chapters. And it was such a good story, and it kind of takes it kind of uses World War II as a metaphor for what's going on, and it's just really good story, and really, and it also has a cappella group singing in a bar at one point, so you could hear that, and that's just impressive to me. And I enjoyed it, and I really loved the characters and using their abilities. And I can like regenerate my MP during combat or outside, and it was just made it so much easier just to use my abilities. So that was a lot of fun to explore.
Just so people know, you can play the demo on Steam.
Yes.
Nice.
Here's a question for you, though. Have you gotten around to Octopath Traveler 0?
Not yet, but that's on my list to get.
Anyways, so I will add. Okay, so I'm gonna add one more game, and that's an old game which I've started playing again. And TJ's probably gonna have his ears prick up on this one, and that is, I've been playing the shit out of City Skylines 2.
Oh.
Yes.
What are you doing there?
Well, it seems like the graphic slowness is gone. Whatever little, they do all these hot fixes, and I am starting to build some really impressive cities. And then tearing them down and starting over again because I said, oh wait, I forgot to account for A, or I forgot to account for B. Right now, my current city is at 12,000, and I have a cargo line terminus going into the city, and this is the first time I actually did that because I hadn't really gotten around to doing. It's attached to the external, and all these goods are just coming in. And you know what happened? Almost all the traffic in the city is congestion has vanished because these trucks aren't glomming up the city. Even though I put it in places where they shouldn't be going, they still go there. But now it's sort of like the congestion is minimal because the trucks aren't coming in now. They're just coming in on the train. So, at some point, I'll have a passenger thing and, a subway and stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, for me, there was nothing wrong with City Skylines 2. It's just the technical problems that just pushed me away. And now that they're gone, I'm starting to really get into it again. And now I left off with a city that has full bars on medium, low, medium, and high density residential and offices and industry. And now I'm thinking, oh crap, I got to purchase all this land and it's going to, and I don't know if I can because it's going to, you have to pay fees for that land that you purchase, right? So it's sort of like I'm in that way. Maybe I should wait until certain things happen. So it's like all these things are happening at once right now, and I'm getting that thrill of playing City Skylines. So that's my not so subtle hint to you, TJ, that maybe you should start investigating City Skylines 2 again.
Nice. I'll have to dig it up.
So how about you, TJ? Is there an older game pre 2025 that you've been playing for some reason?
They keep adding new DLC to Total War Warhammer, and
they're coming out with another one. They're coming out with an Anno Warhammer now too.
yes, they're coming out with a Warhammer 40K Total War, and I'm excited to see that.
Yeah.
But for Total War Warhammer 3, they keep adding new factions. And every time they do that, like with a new leader, they have different mechanics to play with, and so it's fun for me to go back in there and kind of see how it changes up the game.
God bless you. I still can't get into Total War for some reason. There are just certain things that are not clicking with me. I will say this though: I have Anno Rome on my press account, which I'm looking at and thinking maybe I should try that at some point.
Sometimes it's just finding the faction that like clicks with you, because there are a couple
of factions. I just think it's the style of gameplay, because it's sort of like a hybrid between grand strategy and heroes, and it's just a little bit too much balancing, and sometimes things happen which I don't quite understand what's going on. So it's just the gameplay. I mean, I have the Total Warhammer 3 back there, and I still have my little runestone necklace from that, and my goblet. I still have my goblet from that game too. But like I said, I'm going to try Anno Pax Romana at some point. Also, I'm wondering if it's time for me to try Europa Universalis now that 5 has come out.
I hear good things about the new one.
Yeah. So how about you, Scott? What old game that's not named Minecraft have you been getting back into?
Wow. I guess Suikoden and Lunar. That was this year. I played those. Dragon's Quest.
I'm not talking about remakes. I'm talking about actual older games that came out before this year.
Did the Lunar remaster remake come out this year?
Yep, it did.
That's pretty cool. I know a lot of people were excited for that.
Actually, hold on. Let me see.
Has the Dragon Quest 7 remake come out yet? I
Not
know
yet.
I've seen it on store pages.
Not yet.
2026.
Okay.
Let's see. Was Crimson Diamond this year, or was that? I'm trying to see when Crimson Diamond released. I did play that. I think that was last year. I can't see, where is it?
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll just put Crimson Diamond. Yeah, that was last year. Okay.
Okay, and final question. What game coming out in 2026 are you most looking forward to?
Man, well, Trials through Beyond the Horizon.
Let's put a moratorium on the Trials games. And also no sequels. I'm going to say that right now, so no one can say Grand Theft Auto 6 is not on the list.
Oh, I was never going to put that. Sacrifice, then, that is coming out Q1 of 2026. So that'll be my next one to look forward to.
Actually,
it's also an indie game.
I shouldn't have said no sequels, because I wonder, TJ, how much you're looking forward to Neo 3.
I have a different answer for what's the most interesting thing.
Okay, but I'm just wondering how much you're looking forward to Neo 3.
It's going to be fun. I am excited for it. I got to play it a little bit at Tokyo Game Show, and it was more Neo.
So what is the game that you're looking forward to most?
This is like the one that keeps coming to mind right now is Pokopia, because it looks so batshit silly. The idea is that you are a Ditto that took on the form of a child, and you play in a world that's like Dragon Quest Builders, where you get other Pokemon to help you build a city, a little village, a commune for them, and you like mine rocks out of the area. You like build a farm, and you do little quests to build up your city. And because you're a Ditto, you like get powers that allow you to like make this little kid. Like they'll turn their arms into vines, or they'll just spit out, like gobble up furniture and spit it out where they want it. It's so bizarre and it's so silly, and I want to play it so badly.
I think my answer is going to be obvious, and that's Clockwork Revolution.
Oh yeah, that does look good. That's the Brian
An Exile
Fargo
game,
thing, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Brian Fargo, yes. And the stuff that they showed it wasn't just a shooter. It's very much of an RPG, and it's doing stuff that BioShock should have done, or at least BioShock Infinite should have done. It's looking really good.
It is such a straight up like crushing a beer can against their forehead. Watch me do this BioShock thing right thing.
Yeah,
it's funny. I'm excited for it though. I would like to see what a quote good BioShock Infinite looks like.
yeah, and here's the thing: it's still sort of a mystery to me because I still don't grasp what's going on with the time mechanic and how much the how free you are in changing the what's it called, the time. Because in BioShock Infinite, there's just so much you could do. But in this one, I wonder how much more free it is. But I'm going to say this: it also looks like it's going to be a funny as hell game.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be really good.
Yeah. Anyways, that's it for this episode. You can find me at Blue Sky at Jonah Falcon.
You can find me at Johnny Chugs.
You can find me at Chart the Sage.
And we will see you in 2026.
Happy gaming, everyone.
Have fun, be cool, play games, y'all.